And we're back, guys, once again for our next Junior Star League matchup, man. It's going to be one of those days between All In and Hatchery. Or Nano and Hatchery, I should say. Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner, the red Terran pieces. From All Inspiration, he goes by the name of Nano. And then the top left-hand corner, the green Zurich pieces from Guns and Roaches. He goes by the name of Hatchery. You know, like, you just got this building right here. He's going to go build a hatchery. He is building himself. That's what his name's about right there, man. Expanding. He's expanding to another hatchery. He's getting more hatcheries. You mind if I rent a botnet and DDoS for this match? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. LOL. Exactly what these two have in store for us. Now we do have Nano going ahead out and taking a poke around to see exactly what his opponent is up to. In the top left-hand corner, a Neon Violet Square LE. Is Neon Violet Square still in the mix? It didn't ask me for an older version there. I'm a little curious if that... I thought that was taken out. Anyway. We do have a 17 hatch. 17 pull on the way for Hatchery. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, it looks like we are going to go into our very standard Reaper expand. There we go. Reaper is starting up. Get there, that early game map control for Terran. I don't remember seeing this map in the ladder this season. I may have vetoed it and haven't seen it yet. I have a habit of vetoing older ladder maps and some of the newer ones if they don't, meet certain standards as for my personal preferences in the map. We do have our command center going down here. If we want to add on a factory as well. Now we should see a reactor follow up, which means we will go into some Hellions. Maybe? We're going to see it. We're going to see it. Looks like, yep, there we go. So Nano is what you get. Going to go ahead into that lovely Reaper expand with the Hellion follow-up. They're to try to keep some mobility to the map, keep control of the map for a little bit anyway. Meanwhile, back on for Hatchery as the Reaper makes his way. We do have some Lings in position here to help deflect that Reaper. Queens are going to pop out here shortly. This Reaper is getting in here at a very nice time. See if he goes for the Zerglings here. If he could pick off the first 4 Zerglings. Oh, but no, it gets surrounded. A beautiful surround there by Hatchery to go ahead and pick off that Reaper. I was about to say, if you can pick up this first few Lings with that Reaper, you should have a little bit more control of the map where you don't have to worry about some Queens. Anyway, we are just going to, metabolic boost is on the way. Hatchery is just going to settle down and go into what looks like a bit of a macro game as he does have a third base on the way out. Now, losing that Reaper is going to make it a little bit harder for Nano to go ahead and, poke out on the map. And have control of the map. He does have a couple Hellions here. But he might have to keep them home here soon if some Lings decide to come running by. But no, we just have drone phase after drone cycle here for Hatchery so far. Banshee as well with Cloak on the way. So you have to just wait and see exactly what kind of damage Nano does get done. I mean, he has yet to decide whether or not he's going to go mech or go bio, as you can clearly tell with the 1-on-1. We do have another tech lab being added on, so it looks like he might go into that bio composition shortly thereafter. And like I said, this is always super tricky to scout. Unless you see like that tech lab over here researching something, you could have to assume it's a Raven. But if it's over here researching something, you should definitely just assume it's going to be a Banshee coming out. Now, these Lings are already in position here to try and catch these Hellions. That Overlord got a very beautiful scout off. We already have spine crawlers or spore crawlers on the way around the map. There's not one here in the third just yet, but there is one in the main. But here we go. These Lings going to posture up to try and catch these Hellions. Here we go. The Hellions are making a run for it. They are going to turn around and get another volley off. Getting us that drone or Ling barbecue going. Now, he can very easily tuck this in here. There you go. Perfect positioning here is going to allow Nano to, just keep these Hellions alive and roast every single one of these Lings. Which means now these Hellions are just going to open fire with fire all over that hatchery. And that hatchery is going to start to burn as this Banshee rotates into the main base. Exactly what he starts to get done. There we go. There is nothing here to actually knock down this Banshee just yet. There is detection here. This Queen should be able to actually see this. Yeah, he should very easily be able to see that, which means he should be able to respawn there. Hatchery just letting these drones get picked off. I mean, he was worried about the Hellions, but so far this Banshee already up 6 drones. Even going to get to work on that Baling nest, and there's no detection here to actually be able to pick that off. This could actually start to snowball pretty badly here in, you know, not in Hatchery's favor at all, but in Nano's favor. Actually going to go ahead and make it all the way out. Now back home we do see that bio transition kicking in here. Stem is about halfway done. Third base on the way, getting that orbital command center up and running to get that energy up before you relocate that third base. Now one thing about Blackpink is you do have this expansion into the back here that we will now see Hatchery go ahead and take. Banshee going to go ahead over here and start to work on some of these lings. I like this idea to do this because that allows you to knock down some of that army value very, very easily. But he's not microing this Banshee. I would like to see him go after some more of these drones. He's still kind of dancing in range of that Spore Crawler. Spore Crawler going to go ahead and relocate. So far, this Banshee is well worth its weight in mineral, as well as some gas. And Hatchery, I guess, is just trying to figure out where he wants to go. You know, you really don't have a lot of options as Zerg until you open up into lair. So imagine once your lair kicks in, you're going to start to see your Hydra Den come online. You're going to start to maybe see your Infestation Pit or the Spire come online. Which from here, you're just going to have to go ahead and, you know, tear and try to get even further ahead as much as you can economically and be ready for that type of transition. We're 7 minutes in, and Hatchery is not out of this game by any means. I mean, sure, there was some damage dealt, but there's still a very good opportunity to turn around and run this back the other way. Worker count 48 to 42 in favor of Terran. Looks like Hatchery again was just kind of stuck in a wall there, waiting for stuff to finish up. But again, there is the Hydra Den on the way back here in the main base. As Nano will go ahead with this Banshee out once again and try to find some more damage. There is indeed some Queenies here now. Big Mama Queen is going to go ahead and knock that down. We do have a two medevacs making their way into the main base. There is no army here whatsoever. There is a Queen being unloaded in a heartbeat. So there is a Spore Crawler here to help knock down these medevacs, but everything is going to unload. He actually loses medevac. There are some units in it, some Marines in it. Nice positioning here out of Hatchery. There you go, get this push out of here. And Nano losing quite a bit there, honestly. You know, he didn't get any value out of that. He got a Queen, and that was about it. And this medevac now just going to finish unloading the last bits of Marines. And just basically done with this drop. Like, he's going to have to go on home and stay alive. So Hydra, more drones are going to be made. 1-1 on the way with that melee and carapace upgrade. Actually, at +1 and plus 1-1 done for Terran. Actually, going to go ahead and lose that medevac. Bit of a hiccup there in that micro. Get that medevac out of there. But continuing with this bio style, it looks like we're going to see Marine Tank medevac against Hydra Ling Bling. It's, you know, a very standard game at this point from here on out. Terran's up to 3 base, you know, basically even with Zerg. Like, technically, because Zerg has like 3.5 base because there's base back here in the corner. But that is technically the 4th base overall. Right now, as of this moment, Nano is ahead in army supply. I mean, as a player, you can't really see this, so you kind of have to assume that your opponent is holding out in some army somewhere. But the one thing about Zerg, the later this game, the longer this game goes on, it's going to be a lot easier for them to remax, whereas Terran loses 1 or 2 armies, and that's basically going to be the game. We'll have to see exactly when Nano decides to move out. Imagine he's going to wait until 2-2 is about finished. We go ahead and move out. Now, there's no 4th base down just yet. I would like to see him start to add that on if he's not going to, you know, apply any pressure here. Hatchery's bank is through the roof. 2,200 mineral right now. I imagine it should be a big mineral dump coming up here. which he's just gonna max out with one big army here and probably try to push across the map as well. Again, we just gotta kind of wait and see. Kind of like waiting to hear what your DM wants to do on their turn. And whether or not he's gonna target you, try to kill off your character. Alright, here we go. To move out from Terran. Gonna move up onto the creep here. A scan being thrown down. This should be a response from the army here. I mean, there's nothing but Lings and Banelings back here. I'm kind of worried right now for Hatchery. This is a big Terran army pushing out here. Overlord going to get picked off. Supply not in danger of getting capped just yet. But I would like to see a scan to start clearing out some of this creep. Here we go. It's stem forward. Here comes the first engagement really of this game. His tanks need to creep forward here a little bit as well. Get a better position here. As the Marines are just kind of posturing up, waiting to go in. We'll have to see exactly what the splits want to do here for Nano. If he's going to opt that, or is he going to rely on his tanks to, you know, knock down these Lings and Banelings? They do one-shot Lings and Banelings, the siege tanks. +1 ground weaponry for his tanks are on the way. This is just a really slow push. He's not wanting to commit too soon. We got a tank's going to siege up, man. First salvo going to go down. Some huge connections from the siege tank, but the Baneling connections, on the other hand, absolutely ravaging that bio. But in the end, the tanks and Marines is going to be able to overpower our Zerg player here, and he's going to be able to push right in here and kill off this third base of Queens. Transfusing immediately. Going to get cleaned up in the end, though. 40 more Lings are on the way, which is going to be more than enough to clean this up. Behind this, Nano does take his 4th base, so he is getting ahead in that economy as well. 4th base could be evacuated here for Hatchery. Excuse me, the 3rd base. Siege tank going to go ahead and move up as well. 3rd base does end up falling. Spore Crawler might get himself a medevac before he gets taken out. No, we'll get taken out in the end. But is there enough here? Like, is there enough here right now? It's even a drop in the main. Just cleaning up all the reinforcements there. I think it's just too much Terran here on the opposite side of the map. There's being damage dealt everywhere in the main base. The Brutali's getting picked off. And GG is going to be called out. And Nano will secure himself game number 1. Best of 3 series. We are back again, guys, for game number 2. This best of 3 between Nano and Hatchery. Spawning into the top left-hand corner, currently up 1-0 in the series. Oh, there we go. The red Terran pieces from All Inspiration. He goes by the name of Nano. And in the bottom right-hand corner, hopefully he realizes he's got to build a little bit more than just hatcheries to win the game. Guns and Roaches. He is the Hatchery himself. Hatchery. Hatchery up some more drones there. Like, again, we're going to see a pretty standard opening out of Hatchery here. He's going to go ahead and grab that 17 hatcheries, 17 pool. SCV on the way out. And a lot of places really starting to take note that if you don't early scout the SCV, sometimes just more like it should be all the time, not just sometime. But if you don't early scout, you know, send that worker across the map, sometimes you might get cheekied on very, very easily. Again, Nano also getting his barracks set up just right so that he can, you know, drop that reactor later. Acid Plant LE. A map that came into the season. The rotation, I think a season ago now? At the start of the first season of this year? I'm not sure if it's in the rotation currently. A lot of maps you'll realize I just kind of forget about, and I vetoed them and never really see them. Anyway, in the meantime here, Nano going to bring his SCV back home. We're gonna go into that macro game. I wish I would get the fog of war right, so like things like this right here would just continuously update and not just be this like solid frame that you can clearly tell there's water pouring down out of that drain pipe. See, it doesn't work until a unit gets there. Like, it has to have that updating information with it. It's a pretty cool animation, but like, why is it only like one part doing it, you know? One map I never actually look around much on. Best being gas cylinder, I guess, or canister. The Reaper expand does happen here for Nano. Reaper's across the map right now looking for a way in. Looks like he got in here and did a little bit of damage, you know, poked out a bit. Got shooed away by these lings. Hellion follow-up is on the way. And I love this decision right now to keep this Reaper here. But he needs to make sure he doesn't lose this. This Reaper is a great way to deny that third base from your opponent. Especially if he's Zerg, you know, sends that drone out, you can snipe out that drone before he gets there. We do have Starport added on. Looks like we will see that Reaper Hellion Banshee opening once again. For our Terran player in red. Worked out well for him last time. He did get to win in game number 1. But this time, let's see if Hatchery is going to be a little bit more, you know, down to earth and focused. As you saw, looks like he did pick off one of those Hellions, or two of those Hellions. But two of them do end up leaving, or living. I do believe that was a Reaper that got picked off. A couple more Hellions going to rally up across the map. So far, Nano has just completely contained Zerg as far as getting a third Hatchery up. No pun intended to the name. But here we go. These lings are speedlings. Meaning one decent surround will clean up these Hellions. Hatchery, will you get it done? Looks like Nano is just continues to micro away. With two Hellions who get picked off, which he's just going to back on up there. Banshee not out yet. Cloak is on the way. I'm not sure if he mistimed this. Where's the Banshee? Is the Banshee out? No, there's no Banshee yet. The Cloak is about done. I think Nano may have been a little bit too focused on that micro there and forgot to queue up the Banshee, because, you know, that's what happens with Terran. You start microing a unit, we don't spend our money. Go Nano. Gonna go home, get his third base started up finally now. Banshee is all the way as well. There's actually a hole here in this wall. Oh man, we're going to see a bit of a Baneling bus here come down. This might actually get some damage done. There are Hellions here to hopefully deflect this quite a bit. He does find a hole in the wall. The Banelings are immediately rallied to that location. But here we go. The Banelings, these are slow Banelings, so you aren't going to be able to get on top of these Hatchery or Hellions and deliver that, you know, that heavy splash that can be done. These Hellions backing up frantically. But they will end up cleaning up every single Ling and Baneling. There's still one here in the natural base picking at these SCVs. It will get taken out as well. Behind this, Hatchery is also reinforcing once again with more Lings. I don't know about this. He knows there's a Banshee. He knows there's Hellions here. And you're reinforcing with more Lings right now. I mean, it's just throwing away army. That's bleeding into your opponent at this point. It's not something you want to be doing. Right now, Terran is in a great spot. He's got his third base on the way. About to be finishing up here. Third base just now finishing up for Zerg. Which means the base count is incredibly even at this point in the game. Sometimes there's a Terran just slightly behind. You'll see a Zerg go for a quicker third or fourth. But these Hellions here just trying to apply a little bit of damage to this Hatchery to see if he can't get a little bit more of a response. But again, Ling's just going to be able to swarm on top of these Hellions, get roasted, and then you not be able to clean them up. And that's so many Lings that have died so far, just Hellions alone. If we take a look at the... There it is. 64 Lings have gone down alone. Queen's finally joining in here. We'll end up cleaning this up. Banshee making her way into the main base here. There is some detection here on top of this Spore Crawler. I'd like to actually see him keep working on that Roach Warren. still completely in range of this Spore. Spore finally burrows. I mean, at this point, this Banshee's dead, so... There is a point in time when you just stop microing and say, hey, I'm just going to A-click up a few of these drones and see if, you know, what happens from there. I think this time we're actually going to see a bit more mech composition from Nano. He still has yet to get his third base actually up and running. It should be about the 9-minute time when it lands, though. Everything basically is normal for Terran, but, you know, one thing about going mech is you gotta find a even out your gas count, so to speak, your gas count. Because, you know, you don't have to make a big mineral dump into Hellions, and you can just keep producing those high-tech gas units. This is actually really well timed, though. He had these things posted outside, and the command center was lifted. And now they're in the main base, knocking down an SCV or two. Tank is going to go ahead and pop out, but that was a pretty key scout there. It's actually really well paid for. Some Hellions over here in the third, however, is trying to work on these Queens. And these aren't Hellbats, so they aren't getting the damage they could be, or the splash damage they could be. On top of these Queens here. We do have a Roach composition coming out here from Hatchery. And now, I kind of disagree with this composition at this point. You know your opponent's going mech, which honestly you should just kind of start to try and focus immediately into going into your Broodlord or Vipers. I'd like to see them on the way here soon. You can throw that Blinding Cloud or throw them a ducks on top of these tanks. Possibly pick them off. But as of right now, the Roaches just aren't going to be enough to break any kind of mech composition once these tanks are sieged up and so forth. But again, third base is up and running now for Nano. Yeah, these Hat Roaches were more of a response to the Hellions, so we'll throw out that as well. But right now, he's kind of stuck into playing into his opponent's composition and strategy here. Use the Queens and Spores to deal with the Banshee, but you still gotta find something to deal with the Hellions, and Lings aren't gonna be that answer, so you have to go into Roaches. Or even Hydras to deal with them. But at the time, he could only get to Roach Tech, so, you know, you throw down the Roach Horn. Fourth base on the way. At this point, this barracks is not going to be used for anything at all. I don't want to park it somewhere as like a scouting building. Add on more factories. Maybe another starport. Idle SCVs that need to get back to work here. All in all, things have quieted down quite a bit. I mean, I'm just curious to see exactly what Hatchery has in store and, like, you know, to try and get back into this game a little bit. He's been taking a beating around the map. Terra's even about to be on equal base count with Zerg at 10 minutes in. Normally, you should be on like 4 or 5 bases of Zerg, if I recall right. Don't quote me on that, guys, because, you know, definitely something I'm not too familiar with the Zerg. I play Zerg off racing a little bit. Anyway, we've reached kind of a stalemate situation here. Binary is being taken here for Nano because as the mech player, you do want your gases saturated first. Now, mech is a composition I usually frown upon, and you're like, dude, this is just ridiculous and completely over the top. Not a composition I like to see played. That's something I like playing against, but you know, in the end, I've swapped. I've gone into playing mech myself. So far, Nano has just been on point with just about getting everything down correctly and at the right time. We saw those mules called down a little bit early, but they were in time there to, you know, try and have that command center there by the time the mules are done first mining. Water supply of 104 to 64 over Hatchery here. Nano's is sitting pretty. Going up to his tier 2 tech composition here are his upgrades. Burrow. Hydrogen on the way and tunneling claws. Alright, so this could be a very interesting idea here. Keep in mind, there's no Ravens here, so there's no detection other than orbital scans. Which means if this finishes up in time, he could actually use these roaches and burrow underneath the tanks. And just pull a complete surprise composition, like surprise army out of nowhere. As it is right now, let's see if he sees his roaches disappear. They're not up there. Where are they? Scan being thrown down there. Trying to clean up some of these creep. For Nano, he has no idea where these roaches are at. Here they come. They're burrowed. They're actually just got revealed. Using that demon voice pack. The unburrow on top of his mech army. It would have been beautiful if he would have done it more on top of the army. He burrowed once again as he's moving out, trying to get behind these tanks and clean up these tanks. Swarm host joining the mix. Now, this is the worst time to have Swarm host joining in, guys. Swarm host is more of a harassment unit at this point. Because this is why. Look, this is dead army supply now. You have thrown out your Swarm hosts or your locusts with these Swarm hosts. And now they don't fight. That's it. You have nothing left for them. And now that's going to be it. Because you invested into the Swarm hosts, they have like this 30-second cooldown before they can throw out any more units to fight back. You're in a heap of trouble. You have nothing on the production tab. 23 more roaches and not going to be nearly enough to clean this up. Especially when they just rally up in the wrong position here on top of this mech army. Scan being thrown down. We'll see these bird roaches coming in here. I love this idea, but in the end, he just doesn't have enough to kill it off. And he's behind on upgrades. 2-2 is just finishing up. Nano looking like he's about to close this series out with that quick 2-0. He is in a main. He's on top of production building. He's on top of tech at this point. So Evo Chamber going to finish up their upgrades just in time. But with what units? GG is going to be called out. And Nano will secure himself the 2-0 victory. Guys, this is Vagi signing out once again here on this JSL replay recap, so to speak. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next.